3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
This is Movies First with Alex First.
Magic, mayhem and mirth combine for a delightful family offering in Clifford the Big Red Dog. Emily, played by Darby Camp, is a smart 12-year-old who lives with her paralegal single British mother Maggie, Sienna Gilroy, in a small New York apartment. They've just moved there from upstate and Emily is friendless. More than that, she's picked on at school by Florence, Mia Ronn. Then Mum announces she has to fly interstate briefly, leaving Emily under the care of her totally irresponsible uncle Casey, Jack Whitehall. Jobless, Casey lives in the back of an old van and doesn't know how to look after himself, let alone a child. In fact, in years past, he lost Emily twice on the subway. On the way to school the next day, Emily spots an animal rescue tent in the park and prevails upon Casey to venture inside. When they do, an exotic menagerie awaits, with everything from a sloth to an iguana and a hyena. The tent is operated by Mr. Bridewell, John Cleese, who shows Emily his latest acquisition, a red puppy. But with a strict no pets rule in Emily's apartment complex, Casey makes it clear that as much as she'd love to adopt the dog as a pet, she can't. Suffice to say that Emily is shocked to find the pooch, which she names Clifford, in her zipped-up backpack after she returns home from school. But if that surprise isn't enough, the next is significantly larger. Casey reluctantly agrees to allow Emily to keep the dog overnight before he intends returning Clifford to Mr. Bridewell the next day. When that next day dawns, Clifford has miraculously metamorphosized into a gigantic puppy. I'm talking of 3 metres tall. A simple movement such as the wag of a tail leads to an immediate destruction of fixtures and fittings. The command "sit" results in a table collapsing under the pooch's weight. Clifford is soon the toast of the town, but also a hot property for the ruthless head of a company which has so far spent and wasted $400 million trying to grow giant food. Zac Tieran, Tony Hale, will stop at nothing to get his hands on that dog, leading to plenty of stress for Emily and Casey. Meanwhile, a young classmate of Emily's, Owen, Izaac Wang, has taken a shine to her and becomes involved in the hijinks that abound.
You're listening to Movies First. For more, like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Clifford the Big Red Dog is based upon the scholastic book series of the same name by Norman Bridewell. Walt Becker, who is responsible for Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Chip, directs. It's a decidedly far-fetched but well-meaning fantasy that's easy to watch and warm to. There are some cute one-liners and plenty of visual humour. Darby Camp looks mighty confident in front of camera, while Jack Whitehall is a good choice for the man-child. Izaac Wang makes for an enthusiastic friend, and David Alan Grier is gifted a choice role as the apartment block's surly superintendent. John Cleese effortlessly transforms into the mysterious provocateur of good deeds that come at a price. Tony Hale has a high time of it as the pantomime villain. I enjoyed the story trajectory, cloaked in the message of embracing difference. The youngsters I saw it with were absorbed and vocalised their appreciation as the adventure unfolded. There's a cheeky playfulness about the script by J. Scherick, David Ronn and Blaise Hemingway. Clifford the Big Red Dog is a charming summer holiday treat, and it scores a 7 out of 10.
You've been listening to Movies First with Alex First.
Available at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.